Minister has signalled that he is going to announce tomorrow plans for all adults in the UK to have a digital ID card. Sir Keir Starmer is expected to reveal more details on that, but it's understood he believes the ID cards will help them crack down on illegal immigration. It will be a form of proof of a citizen's right to live and work in the UK. Most European countries do require their citizens to hold ID cards, but the UK has long resisted with concerns over civil rights and privacy issues.
Digital ID will be made law for all adults in an effort to tackle small boats. Downing Street believes that a mandatory ID card system will help stop illegal immigrants working. Let's bring in our political correspondent, Mari Aurora. Mari, what more do we know about this?
Yeah, well, Gareth, this is interesting because this is something that has been spoken about a lot. Tony Blair, for instance, has been talking about this for years and years as what he always believed was one of the best ways to try and reduce illegal immigration and the ability for people to work illegally here in the UK. But Sky News understands that we will have an announcement, could be as soon as tomorrow, from the Prime Minister on these mandatory ID cards, an ID card system, the Brit card. And essentially what this will mean, it will be mandatory for all adults here in the UK. It will make it easier for employers and for landlords to make sure that those they are employing or renting or to actually have the right legal immigration status here in the UK. They can do it using a smartphone app. It's also, according to the government, going to make it easier for people here in the UK to essentially prove their status or their ability to kind of qualify to be able to work here in the UK. And essentially, this is all about immigration. This is all about trying to tackle small boats crossings. We've had a lot of conversation about small boats and about other European countries, especially the French, who have been concerned with the kind of pull factors here in the UK in terms of being able to work in the black market, being able to work illegally here in the UK. We already know that France has an ID card system. They've had it for many, many years. And it's something that the UK has always resisted, partly because of questions around civil liberties and freedoms, but also because many governments in previous times said they didn't think it was the best approach. Now, clearly, Keir Starmer has been persuaded of the benefits of a digital ID card system and has been persuaded that this might have a significant impact on small boats crossings. The question really, and this is always going to be the million-dollar question, is once this comes into play and once it is enforced, how much of an impact could it have on small boats crossings? And if it has a really significant impact on small boats crossings, and it really kind of starts to eradicate that pull factor for illegal migrants coming to the UK, because I think they can essentially make money on the side illegally, as opposed to somewhere like that in France, how much of an impact does that have? And if it doesn't have a huge impact, then of course there'll be sighs of disappointment, I think, from within the Labour Party.
Digital.
Shalom, back again with another lesson. Before I begin this lesson, I'd first like to begin by giving all honor, glory and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kodash. I give double honors to my elders and apostles who rule well, who I've learnt is true from. I want to say peace and salutations to you Akim, you brothers out there laboring, pushing this word out in all truth and in sincerity. And I also want to say shalom to you Israelite sisters that may be listening, and also to you Israelites that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. You may look like these other nations, but your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which is the chosen seed line. So there you have it. You know, I just wanted to do this quick lesson today, you know, just showing you, you know, the times that we're in. Yet again, we're getting closer and closer to this digital ID system, you know, the MOTB. It's getting ready to be implemented. You know, we've, you know, through the years been warning about this digital ID, RFID, micro C hip, getting ready to be implemented. And now you see on the news reports that I played at the beginning of this video, how they're now looking at or going to make an announcement, possibly tomorrow. Today's the 25th of September, 2025. They're looking at making an announcement tomorrow saying it's mandatory to get the digital ID card, the Brit card. And, you know, they dress it up in relation to, you know, migration, saying it's a way of tackling illegal migration. However, you know, this is just what they're telling us, right? This is a plot to get everybody on that digital system. You see all the protests and everything that's been happening recently, where, you know, you see a lot of the British flags flying. You know, in other countries like Australia, you see the Australian flags flying, and it's all in regards to the patriotism. You know, they dress it up as patriotism. Well, obviously, we know what it exactly is. You know, these Edomites are getting frustrated, right? These Edomites are reaching that boiling point, right? So without further ado, I'm going to get into some scriptures and then, you know, close it out there. But this is breaking news, right? So as we look at the scriptures, I'm going to start in the book of Daniel, chapter 12, and I'm going to read verse 4. And it says, "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." Right? So Daniel's having a vision from the angel, and basically the angel's telling him to shut up the book, even till the time of the end. Right? So now we're at the time of the end, the book's been opened, and these things have been revealed to the prophets. Right? Now, it says, "Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased," right? So over the years, right, we understand that, you know, back in the day, you had to walk everywhere, right? In the ancient world, you pretty much had to walk everywhere or ride horses. But as time's gone on and the technology has increased, right, the technology of travel, you know, you got your horse and buggy, you got your car, the invention of the automobile. Now you got the plane. You can carry this word, right, across the planet in a matter of hours, right? And then obviously the invention of YouTube as well, so the word is spreading like wildfire, right? And it says, "Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." And the knowledge is increasing. The knowledge of the truth is being increased, right? Now I'm going to jump over to the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, and it reads, for the vision is yet for an appointed time." And what time is that? It's the time of the end, right? It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie," right? "Though it tarry," though it's delaying, though it's taking a long time, "though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry," right? And now we're starting to understand, hey, we're getting to that stage now. They're making it mandatory to have a digital ID card. What's next? You know, everybody gets signed up on the system, then the global economic crash happens. Let's say that, for example, I don't know if that's exactly what's going to happen, but let's say there's a global economic crash, right? Now they say, if you want to be on the system, you know, you need to get this microchip. Your information's already there. It's just a case of getting an injection, boom, done, job done. And once that happens, you're now in their system, right? And then they'll be able to persecute, you know, the men of the Lord, you know, the Israelites, the ones that don't accept, right, the RFID microchip. Will be hunted, you know, we track. We're coming into that time, right? So, you know, I'm going to read the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16, because this is the point, right? And it says, "And he causeth all," right? He's making it mandatory now, right? This is talking about the chip, but the digital brick card or the digital ID card is being made mandatory, and they're going to announce that very shortly, possibly tomorrow on the 26th of September, right? But it says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads," right? And it says, "and that no man might buy or sell, can't do it without this mark, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." Right? And then finish out verse 18. It says, "Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So 666. This is the mark of the beast coming, right? MOTB, right? Now, why is this being made mandatory now? Because you can look around the world at global events and you can see how the Bible's like literally, you know, the movie is playing straight from the scriptures, right? So you had the book of Matthew, chapter 24. Matter of fact, let me just run there quick. Right? So it says, I'm going to just jump straight to verse 6. It says, this is Matthew 24 and 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Right? So although we're seeing all these things happening in the world, like these rumors of wars and uprises of the people, protests and things just getting out of hands, and you could see it like by literally just switching on your TV, going on YouTube and just clicking world events, and you can see what's going on. You can listen to the prophets and see that everything that we're reading out of the scriptures and presenting to you is coming to pass, right? This is Matthew 24 and 7. It says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines. This hasn't fully come into effect yet, but it's coming. I mean, you could see that in Palestine, they're going for a bit of a famine right now, right? Even though, the small hats, the 1948ers, are losing that what do you call it, propaganda war, right? So they're trying to say that, no, there's food there, but it's Hamas that's stopping it. But it's like, well, you're telling us to not trust our eyes. We can see with our own eyes and see what's happening. And you're trying to make us believe that we're not seeing what we're seeing, right? But it says there shall be famines and pestilences, and that's still to come. I mean, you're starting to see sicknesses. Who knows what's going to come about this winter, right? It says, and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. I mean, we're seeing all these things happening in the world, right? It says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. That's just the beginning. Like, we ain't even hit the peak yet. And the reason why this seems to me that it's being sped up, like the days are being sped up, like, the other day, I felt like it was Monday. I feel like it was Monday yesterday, and now we're on Thursday going into Friday. Like, the days are just whizzing by. This week's gone by quick, right? But I'm not going to make this a long lesson. I'm just going to read one last scripture, and then I'll close it out there. Because like I say, this is just breaking news. So obviously, this is just another video to show you how close we are to the end of this thing, right? Esau's getting ready to snap, right? So this is the book of, actually, let me go to the book of Jeremiah, Salakia, because we're getting close to this time. This is the time that we're getting close to. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 7. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Right? So we're getting close to that time. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and this is not saying that every white person is an Edomite, but that you can see it. You can see their anger brewing up, right? With the rhetoric or the protest. You're starting to see it all building up, right? It says, for alas, for that day is great, because it's so that none is like it, because it's going to be a time like no other. When you think about all the atrocities that happen in the earth and all the wickedness, like the day of Jacob's trouble is going to be worse than that. It's crazy. He said, it is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So the elect are going to go through hard times, but ultimately, as long as they endure until the end, they'll be saved out of it, Lord willing, right? The last scripture I want to read, and this goes to show you why Esau, Edom is so angry. It says, this is Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, and this is the point, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Like, his time is running out, and he knows it. He knows that the chariots are on the way. He knows that Yahweh Shai is getting ready to crack that sky. He knows that he's only got a short amount of time before his time is up, right? So he's speeding up this thing, That's why we're telling you, we're at the doors. We are at the doors of this thing, right? So, I know it sounds like all doom and gloom, but this is what it is. You need to trust in the Lord and seek the Lord now while you have the opportunity. Because once then spiritual ark doors are closed, there ain't no more hope. You're in trouble. Trouble like you've never been in before, you know? Now I'm going to jump to, I'm going to leave you with some good news at least. You know, I guess it wouldn't even really be good news, but I guess it's something. But this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 9, right? And it says, "For Esau is the end of the world." You see it there. "And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth." So we're almost out of here, you know. We're coming close to the end. We're almost out of here. We just got to, stay locked in. This is the point where we got to be locked in 100%, you know, because it's about to be a bumpy ride, right? So with that, I pray that this lesson has been edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. And with that, it's on to the next one, called Lo Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem Ruach HaKodesh, the water, and Shalom.